Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to vibrantly break down the absolute latest maritime standards that are stepping up to keep our waters safer, our vessels more secure, and our global logistics way smarter than ever before. We're looking at a pretty pivotal update in maritime regulations today. Specifically, we're focusing on sections 312 through 315. Now, if you follow maritime law or port operations at all, you already know just how quickly this landscape is evolving. So our goal today is to really visualize these updates so they make sense, and they're incredibly easy to understand right at first glance. Let's get into it.
Here is our agenda. We've got three main pillars to cover. First, keeping your certificate safe. Second, mandatory vessel insurance. And third, the shift to e-governance.
All right, part one, keeping your certificate safe and accountability at sea.
So accountability at sea isn't really about being punitive, right? It's about elevating the entire profession and making absolutely sure that the people navigating our oceans are doing so with the utmost integrity. Section 312 actually outlines the exact parameters that trigger the central government to step in and either cancel or suspend a seafarer's certificate. Let's look at the boundaries defining professional maritime conduct today. Instead of throwing a complex legal wall of text at you, the law basically establishes 5 clear lines that you just cannot cross. Number 1, basic incompetence or proven misconduct that gets found out during an inquiry. Number 2, and this is a massive one for the Maritime Code of Honor, failing to render assistance in the case of a collision. Number 3 involves any criminal conviction, whether that's under this specific act or literally any non-bailable offense committed in India or internationally. Number 4 covers any wrongful act or default that directly causes a casualty. And finally, number 5 is kind of a general catch-all for contravening the provisions of this act. Visualizing these 5 points makes it super easy to see that these rules are simply here to keep our operations safe, bright, and strictly accountable.
But, here is where the regulation really shines and actually protects the seafarer. The absolutely crucial point is this: the framework is incredibly fair. The text explicitly mandates that no suspension or cancellation order can be passed unless the person concerned has been given a proper opportunity of being heard. It's a built-in safeguard. It ensures that while the standards are sky-high, the process totally respects the voice of the professional. You aren't just a number. Your side of the story matters. Let's move over to Section 313 and see how this builds on that foundation of fairness. What happens when an investigation or an inquiry is completely wrapped up, but there's this lingering feeling that something was missed? How exactly does the law handle the need for a second look to ensure absolute justice?
Well, there are 2 very specific avenues for a rehearing. On one hand, you have the discovery of new, vital evidence that simply could not be produced at the time of the original investigation. And on the other hand, if the central government suspects a miscarriage of justice has occurred, if either of these 2 conditions is met, the government is actually required to order the case to be reheard, either in full or in part. Again, this is just to keep the whole system transparent and fundamentally fair.
Moving right along to part 2, mandatory vessel insurance, securing the ship.
Shifting our focus to the vessels themselves for a second, Section 314 introduces compulsory security. Now, without prejudice to any other financial security required under different chapters of the Act, every single registered owner of an Indian vessel is strictly required to maintain adequate insurance coverage. Or, alternatively, they must maintain a prescribed financial security to confidently cover their liability. Why does this matter? Well, because it totally removes the financial gray areas. It guarantees that if something goes wrong, the liability is covered. It creates a stable, predictable, and highly secure environment for everyone involved in maritime trade.
Now for part 3. The shift to e-governance, or digital maritime management. Section 315 outlines a massive, and I mean massive leap from paper-heavy bureaucracy to a streamlined modern flow. You can now legally satisfy statutory requirements in 3 steps. Step 1, filing your applications and documents electronically. Step 2, receiving your grants, licenses, permits, and certificates in a digital format. And Step 3, paying all your fees online. Think about what this means in practice. In the past, you might wait weeks for a physical compliance stamp to arrive via international mail before a vessel could even move. Now, doing these things digitally is legally deemed to have fully satisfied the requirements, unblocking logistics instantly. It's a real game changer.
The practical impact of Section 315 on day-to-day operations is huge.
Historically, mandatory documents like logbooks, record books, databases, and agreements meant dealing with paper-bound books, physical ledgers, easily damaged hard copies, and, massive filing cabinets taking up valuable space. Now, the Act explicitly authorizes that all these records may be maintained in electronic form. It's clean, it's fully searchable, it's instantly verifiable, and it represents a huge upgrade for operational efficiency across the board.
Finally, Part 4, Charting the Course Ahead and the Future of Shipping.
So, what should you really take away from all of this? Well, by combining clear, visualizable accountability in Sections 312 and 313, compulsory financial security in Section 314, and this massive, honestly refreshing shift toward e-governance in Section 315, these rules set a highly positive, modernized course. They empower maritime professionals to do their jobs with greater safety, way better financial backing, and significantly less administrative friction. As we officially leave behind the era of dusty, physical paperwork, one has to ask, when a ship's logs and financial securities can be verified in a fraction of a second, how will this instantaneous compliance completely reshape the speed and scale of global shipping tomorrow? It is a thrilling prospect for the industry. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep looking forward.